By the way, I suppose we should discuss the threat by Conor McGregor to not fight Dustin Poirier. What do we take from that? Is that hype promotion? I mean, I will tell you, you're dealing with a master here. Conor McGregor is a master. And that will definitely get headlines, particularly if he stays with it. Stay with it 2 or 3 days. Let that die, then come back. But is the Dustin Poirier versus Conor fight the biggest fight that you could make or the biggest fight that Conor could get? No. No, it's not. So if you want to look at it from that perspective, it's not as though anybody's left holding the bag except Dustin Poirier. Conor's check won't be any smaller. Neither will the organizations. Neither will the pundits that cover these things. Red Panty Night is very real, still. Even if it's dimming, it's still real. I'm sharing that with you. I work in this space. I mean, in all fairness, the number one thing that Conor would get from fighting Poirier is try to redeem this and make it 2-1. If it goes the other way and it ends up 1-2, he looks like a fool. It's 1-1 right now. He could probably live the rest of his life like that. I mean, in all fairness, this all comes from a competitive standpoint of Conor McGregor wanting to right this wrong, similar to the way he did with Nate Diaz, hoping that the story gets written that way. There's not a whole lot here for Conor, except for that. It's a major intrinsic value. And all fighters will operate off that. All fighters that are out there, something makes them tick, something drives them. I'm just identifying in this case what it is for Conor is purely intrinsic. There is nothing in his world around him that changes if he beats Dustin Poirier. Inside, how he feels does. I bring that to you because I would tend to lean towards the side that this was a piece of promotion or that this was lashing out and that cooler heads will prevail. I tend to lean towards that side, but you now have Conor, who is in a position because he had his word questioned, who is now given a word about something else. I mean, does he lose twice? Does he now, right? There's not a great position here. Conor didn't write a check he said he was going to write. Things don't get much lower than publicly saying you're going to do something to get yourself a pat on the back and then not writing the check. There's really not anything much lower than that. That's a bad move. And he got outed for. Now what do? Do you double down? You try to right one wrong by showing him a man of your word by not fighting a guy? If he doesn't write the check and he fights him, it's now 2 losses. 2 things he said that he was going to do that he didn't do. However, does that get counted out by the fact that he already signed a contract and said that he would do it? See the problem? Guys always go a little bit too far. Go a little bit too far. He's in a bit of a corner right now. On one hand, he said he was going to do a fight. On the other hand, he says he's not going to do the fight. Which one is going to be true? Whichever one is true makes the other one untrue. So even if he tells the truth, and you could go either way with it, he's now told a lie to the other one by default. Are you with me here? Are you staying with the story? Wake up. Hello. It's a little bit problematic, and he should have left it out. And I can personalize this. When I did The Ultimate Fighter with Vanderlei, who, by the way, I hope is having a wonderful life, but at that time, did not get along well. Vanderlei demanded that I give an apology. Day one, demanded I give an apology. He should have stopped there. Could have looked like a good guy. He went too far. He said, and if you don't, I'm leaving. I quit on day one. Day one to a multi-$100,000 project that hasn't started yet but has been paid for. He's going to quit. He can't quit. We're all there. He's trying to be the good guy. If he walks out and I stay and I got to train the teams, I'm now the good guy. So he can't quit, but he said he would. See the problem? He went too far. He was not wrong to demand the apology if he was trying to look like a good guy and I had just insulted the group. He wasn't wrong for that. It was a little weird. It was self-serving, but he wasn't wrong. The mistake he made is not giving himself a way out. You always give your enemy a way out, always, even in the art of war, even if it's nation against nation, where actual things could be broken and people could be killed, you always give your enemy a way out. You'll never see the president of this country negotiating with the president of a different country without giving that guy a way out, because we don't want to fight. The art of war, the best general never fires a shot. We've had presidents in this country who didn't understand the art of war, who have led us into battle because they didn't know how to negotiate. You always give your opponent a way out. Always. You never start throwing punches till you back up as far as you can. Your shoulders hit the wall. There's nowhere else to go. I gotta go forward. Now we have to fight. It was a mistake. When Vanderlei put that condition on it with me, it was a mistake. Because I wasn't going to apologize, and I didn't apologize, and he was on set next day for work at 8 a.m. Right now, he looks like a fool. It's one of these things. Conor's in a tough spot. What should Conor do? I spoke to somebody on Conor's team today, this morning, about this, whose advice for Conor is we need to write this check, and we need to write it today. I'm looking around going, why? You owe $500,000. You need to write it for that point of your integrity. I agree with you, but in the world of PR, which is what we're discussing right now, he's just going to look weak. Conor tried to buy $500,000 worth of PR. He now got $5 million put against him by not being a man of his word, which questions everything. How are you going to go do business? Mr. Businessman, how are you going to do any business with him if you know that he can't be trusted? It's a big deal. So now he's going to write the check, but only because he got called out. I mean, you see where it becomes a mess? It's a mess. Now he says he's not going to fight Poirier. If he backs down on that, do you see where it becomes a problem? But do you also see where this becomes Dustin Poirier's problem? Dustin Poirier also overplayed his hand. The A side generally never, I apologize, the B side generally never knows who the A side is. Every fight, the athlete arrogantly thinks that he's needed. And that was Poirier's mistake. He's not needed. Conor's next pay-per-view is going to do 1 million buys. I have not told you who the opponent was, but I don't need to. Conor's next pay-per-view is going to do 1 million buys. This statement is still true. Conor's next pay-per-view will not be for a world championship. That story is not going to change. Conor's next pay-per-view is going to be in a main event. Conor's next I could keep going all day long and never have to tell you who his opponent is. There's no other athlete like that right now, and the only one that we even see coming down the pike is Francis Ngannou, which is where Jon Jones made the mistake. Jon Jones thought he was coming in to be the A side. He forgot that he gave his belt back. He forgot. He's been champion so long, he forgot he wasn't the champion. Forgot he doesn't matter. He didn't have to show up at all. That was the mistake Dustin made. Dustin and Conor, whether you like it or not, or whether you want to accept it, and most fighters are never intelligent enough to get to this point. It's also the mistake that was made here. But Dustin and Conor, no matter how real this is, no matter how much they do not like each other, no matter what, they are partners. They are going to come together and they're going to do business one night. So if you attempt to insult or embarrass your partner, I will tell you, I have partners. I would never publicly embarrass my partner. I would never publicly insult my partner. Even in the world of trash talk, stay away from what's true. It's the truth that hurts. Number of things you can say about a guy. You start bringing the truth into it, you start to have a problem. I'm only sharing with you. I don't know where this is going to go. But if we are to quickly default to the idea that this is nothing more than promotion by Conor, you do have to hear the other side of it, which is Conor does not need and has never needed Dustin for extrinsic reasons. Internally, he'd like to get that one right. And that's a powerful feel. That's going to be a very powerful emotion in this. So let's see where this goes. But they are partners. And one partner just publicly, by using the truth, the thing that hurts the most, embarrassed another partner.